grew up in North Dakota. We lived in a small town of 10,000. So it was a very serene, almost, you know, Ozzie and Harriet kind of leave it to Beaver kind of life. And it was through, you know, activities in school that I became interested in public speaking, and ultimately led me to want to go into law. I remember giving a speech in middle school where I gave Atticus Finch's closing argument. Most vividly remember a couple of Voice of Democracy contests. At some point they picked a winner from southwestern North Dakota, which was me. Went to a number of colleges, ultimately graduating from the University of North Dakota with a degree in education. But I always wanted to come back to Colorado, and when I finally decided to go to law school, chose the University of Denver and graduated in 1982. Went to law school with some very fine lawyers: Seymour Joseph, Jeff Pagliuca, Dan Riley, Jack Finlaw, Rich Cauty was on my editorial board. Initially, when I graduated, I got hired by Holland & Hart. I spent a year doing analysis of Marvin Davis's oil wells in Wyoming and wanted to shoot myself. I went to my supervisor and said, I really am not enjoying this work. Let me try litigation. And immediately I took to it. Because I wanted more trial experience, I went to an insurance defense firm, Downey and Gully. Didn't really like the defense side of the personal injury work, so I returned to Holland & Hart in 1988 and was a partner there until 1996, when I left and started the first of 3 iterations of my own firm.
I met Dan right out of law school probably 16 years ago, and Dan had just left, I believe, Holland & Hart at the time, and had set up his own shop with Ian Carpel.
I think the most critical case in my professional development is a case I tried at Holland & Hart and lost, and it was against the Association of Blood Banks for not properly screening blood that was donated at the time when HIV and AIDS was spreading like wildfire. The paperwork that I saw from internal Red Cross and blood bank operations was astounding and appalling. And they did this callous calculation that it would cost less not to screen the blood like we thought they should and fight in court than it would be to save lives. And when I saw that actually happening, from that point forward, I did not want to do defense work anymore. I wanted to get on the right side of cases and represent people who had been screwed by whomever, because it was so wrong. And that was a turning point for me.
There was another important case that I worked on with Dan for a gentleman by the name of Steve Werness, who suffered just absolutely awful burns all over his body to the point where they put him in a coma and they thought he was going to die. This is one of those cases where I got to see Dan in action for sort of what I think he's so great at, which is his creativity.
You know, it's amazing to be sitting here thinking about what advice or how young lawyers might learn from my experience. I still see myself as being a young lawyer. self-delusion, everybody. I think the first and most important principle is to understand that your word is your bond in law. And early on, you will get a reputation for either being someone whose word can be trusted or not. When you speak the truth, and that will pay you dividends down the road. You have to be and act like a professional in every aspect of your life, not just in your practice. The CTLA was really the vehicle that brought me to a pure plaintiff's practice. A lot of people think that, oh, you're joining with your competitors, but as we all know, we don't compete so much as we work together on cases through case assistance and through the listserv. And so I see it quite differently than joining a group of my competitors. I see it as joining a bigger and bigger law firm. One of the other things that CTLA has provided is an insight into how laws are made, and it's given me the opportunity to actually work in the legislative process. In fact, we can form the law through activities like the Colorado Trial Lawyers.
In terms of a lasting contribution, 10.3.11.15 and 10.3.11.16. These are the Colorado statutes that were passed in 2008 while Dan was the president of the CTLA. And he worked tirelessly even while sick, and ultimately have those bills passed by the governor was just a phenomenal achievement.
Most of you know I haven't practiced law for the last 7 years due to cancer diagnosis. And I would say first that I miss it immensely. I have stayed in the mix of legal work by mediating, and I've found that that provides me with a lot of great satisfaction. I am extremely grateful for having had the opportunity to practice law with so many of you, and now to work with you in resolving your disputes.